Hello and welcome back to the movies made us do it. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
Hi, I'm pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm tired and it's like 27 degrees in here. So if you can hear a fan, I don't care.
Yeah.
I probably will care and remove the noise tomorrow if there is any. But for right now, I don't care. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Saw some things. You saw some things.
We did.
It's good times. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Let's start with the Out of Range.
All right then. Why not? So this is a series, Netflix exclusive series.
Prime.
Oh, sorry, Prime exclusive series. I've been wanting to watch this for a while, actually. The cast is superb, and something about the trailer really grabs me, but I haven't got round to it yet, so I'm really curious what you've made of it.
Yeah. So this is stars Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Imogen Poots, Lily Taylor, Tom Pelphrey, Tamara Podemski, Lewis Pullman, who I kept looking at thinking, well, you look familiar, and your last name is Pullman, so
Yeah.
and he is, yes, he's the son of Bill Pullman.
Cool.
That makes sense. Yeah, fine, I understand that. So basically, this is about a family ranch.
Yeah.
With Josh Brolin as the matriarch, and one day in one of their pastures, he comes across this feckin' great of hole.
Yeah, that's in the trailer, that hole.
Yeah, which is well, basically it contains time.
Right.
And when the things that go into it end up either in the future or in the past, and things have come through it.
Right.
So you keep seeing this buffalo with arrows in its hide just wandering around.
Okay.
And it's like, well, that clearly came from the past at some point.
Yeah.
And you, meanwhile, with the family, so you've got Josh Brolin's Royal, and you have Lily Taylor is playing Celia's wife, and they have two sons, Perry and Rhett. Perry is the older son, and he's got a daughter. This little girl she was in what's the bloody Hill House? She was in Hill House.
Yeah.
And she so their mother disappeared at some point. So
into the hole.
Well, you don't know.
Okay.
You think maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil anything.
No, sure. I just assumed that was probably the character's motivation, is that they thought maybe.
At this point, the only person that, towards the start, the only person that seems to know about the hole is Royal.
Right.
Josh Brolin's character. And so it sort of seems to suggest that maybe she fell into the hole because they've been looking for her for ages. No one's found her.
Right.
So it's possibly that she fell in the hole or something.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest son, he's a bull rider in the rodeo.
Okay.
And not spoiling anything really, but the two brothers that after a drunken night end up. Well, the older brother so there's a family across the way who seem to be they're richer and slight, they like to do things differently. And the head of that family is Will Patton,
right?
Who seems to be a slightly unhinged, obsessive, who wants the pasture where the hole is. He seems to know the stuff going on.
Okay, so he's got some awareness of something weird.
He knows that there's something weird going on, and he wants that pasture, and he's come up with some way of basically stealing it from them. He's going to take them through the courts to do with border discrepancies and all that sort of stuff.
Okay,
sort of thing. And he's got three sons that are sort of seem to be unhinged in their own different ways. The youngest son is so bizarre. He keeps singing.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that in a minute. And so during this drunken thing, this altercation between the sons, the oldest son kills one of them,
Right.
and they put the body in the back of the pickup and drive it off to the family ranch, where Royal picks up the body and puts it in the hole. The other brothers the brothers on the other family have realised that something's going on, so they do chase, but they don't find him. They don't find him at that point. But you've also got this woman that turns up, played by Imogen Poots, who's called Autumn, and she just sort of wanders in one day with a backpack, and she's got a book full of these symbols that are all over the place, and it's basically the ranch symbol.
Okay.
But they're carved up on the mountains and things like that, and she asks if she can camp on their sort of property, and the family's all like, no, weird outsider sort of thing, but Royal agrees as long as she doesn't come into the house and she stays out there. Now she comes across the hole, she finds the hole, and she does see Royal putting the body in the hole, if I remember rightly.
Right.
So from there you get this, there's a sort of murder mystery type thing, because you get there's a native, well, she's native, but she's normal police. She's like the sheriff, and you've got this stuff going on with her trying to run for like sheriff next year sort of thing.
Sure.
And there's there's obviously prejudice going on because she's an Indian and she's a lesbian, and the other guy who's running for sheriff is obviously one of those uber, everybody likes him type.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not a big thing in the series, thankfully. But she's really good as this cop, and she knows this, more to what's going on, that not the weirder stuff, although not spoiling it later. It comes in later. So again, I am not going to spoil this at all, but there's
a lot of mystery going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of very odd stuff going on. One of my main problems with the series is none of the characters are terribly likable. They've almost all got flaws to the point of being almost terrible people. Even Royal, who he clearly has this weird past that obviously is not revealed till much later, but you kind of guess, I think. Well, we certainly guess what was going on.
So is this series? Is this a like one and done series, or is it setting up?
No. It's
an ongoing series in theory.
It's definitely. I'm hoping that it explains a little more in the second season, but there's a lot of, trying not to spoil anything, but there's a lot of obviously weird time stuff and things disappearing and reappearing.
Yeah.
And so one thing I will say, not spoiling anything really in the main storyline, the body that he throws in the hole appears on top of the mountain, this mountain, which is next to their place.
Right.
A couple of days later.
Okay.
And obviously the police pick it up, that they do the autopsy and all that sort of stuff. And when they do the autopsy, they say, it's only been dead for a couple of hours.
Right.
It's been missing for like days, like a week or something, but it's only been dead a couple of hours. So there's this weird discrepancy. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Was it frozen, or was it? And they're like, no evidence that it was frozen or anything like that.
Sure.
So there's lots of stuff that doesn't make sense to them, and so the copper sort of, she's putting all the stuff together, but she's
missing the key piece of evidence that ties it all together
by annoying things, and she really needs this sort of win to bring people around to her.
Sure. Yeah, to kind of ensure her. Yeah.
So it's very heavy on the family drama stuff. Within the sort of missing wife, and this stuff going on with the younger kid who he's kind of sick of being attached to his family. You know, the family are so sort of rigid, and he kind of wants to leave the family and do his own sort of thing, but you know, he gets getting dragged back by, well, stuff his brother does or whatever. You know, there was this one bit. So one of the youngest son of the other family, he sings, and the thing is, he's got a good. I think he's got a good voice, but I think he intentionally sings bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like really cringy. And there's a bit. Well, it's not giving anything. They have a funeral, and he sings "Don't Give Up." You know, the Kate Bush. What's his bloody name? For fuck's sake! Guy who's like Sledgehammer.
Yeah, I can't think right now. It's too
what?
fucking hot in here to be asking me questions, Matt.
Anyway,
yeah, fucking
song,
Sledgehammer. God, why can't I think of that? That's annoying.
Which is one of the most moving, beautiful songs ever created. It's an amazing song. He sings it, and we had to mute it.
He's butchering it.
He was so murdering this song. It was like, oh, for God, no, please don't.
That must be really difficult to do, though, if you're actually a talented singer and you're purposely singing
That's
bad.
The thing. I've got because the thing is, you sort of hear these hints that you think, well, actually, he's not really singing badly. So I think he must be genuinely a pretty good singer, but just sings really weird. Maybe it's just the style he sings.
Oh, Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel, thank you.
Fucking hell, I knew it was in there somewhere, but you know.
Yeah. So that bloody song, which is an amazing, beautiful song.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, he butchers it, so I had to mute that. And it's like he was like, "Yep, no, I'm not doing that." But yeah, there's a lot of some nice visuals, and there's a sort of a little bit of time hopping here and there. For instance, I say, Royal ends up going in at one point, and it's not really spoiling anything to say that he ends up, I think it's a couple of years in the future.
Yeah.
And he sees how fucking different everything is, and what, it's like, fuck, what is all this shit? What's going on here? And I won't spoil anything of that. But yeah, so there's that. But it was really enjoyable. It was the mysteries kept you going. The performances are really good, but as I said, the I think the fact that the characters are mostly quite terrible, not terribly done, just awful people.
Yeah.
That it kind of does kind of put you off sometimes.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before as a fine line.
Yeah, it is. And most of the time they manage it, but sometimes like a character will do something and you're like, come on, this is, throw me a bone here,
Yeah.
Give me something to stay for, But like I said, I did enjoy it, and I will definitely watch the second season. So yeah, it was interesting. It's a nice, weird little sort of sci-fi, come family drama sort of thing.
Yeah, sounds cool. It's definitely something I'm looking to check out. So
yeah, well, when we get to the other one, which is it's got a sort of similar thing running through it. So we'll see how different that is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I saw Men, a film by Alex Garland, a director and writer that I'm generally a huge fan of. I mean, he wrote The Beach. I think he wrote the novel that The Beach the film was based off of. Wrote 28 Days Later, Sunshine, which I quite like. Sunshine as well. I actually quite like Sunshine.
I love Sunshine. It's one of those movies that sort of tends to get forgotten because it's not it's not one of those sort of big bombastic movies, or like such a sort of huge sci-fi thing that people. I
think it was misbilled actually, because the trailer kind of makes it look a bit more epic than it actually is. I think that might have led to people's kind of dislike of it or indifference to it. But big fan of that film, and then obviously Dredd. He wrote and produced, I think, Dredd. And then recently, in recent years, I say recent years, I guess 2015-ish onwards, started directing, and we got Ex Machina and Annihilation, 2 films which I absolutely loved, especially Annihilation, which I think is...
He wrote 28
fantastic.
Days Later as well.
I said 28 days. Did he? 28 weeks. He did 28 weeks as well. I think you might be right about that, but yeah. But yeah, so Annihilation I absolutely loved. Ex Machina I thought was really good as well. So I was completely on board with seeing this movie. I also really liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was really solid. So yeah, went down with a friend, a couple of friends, and watched it a couple of weeks ago. And honestly, I think so far this year, this might be film of the year for me. So far, it's a film that is, well, it's the setup is that we have this lady played by Jessie Buckley, Harper.
I love Jessie Buckley.
She is fantastic.
She's brilliant in everything I've seen her in. I mean, she was in the I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was...
Yeah, I still haven't got around to seeing that yet.
From a couple of years back.
But she's basically moved... she's basically renting this big manor house to kind of get away from... I don't know how much of this film to spoil. How much
the trailer shows you why she's there.
Of course, the trailer does. So yeah, okay. Yeah. So more kind of it develops through the film, but effectively, she was in an abusive relationship. Her partner struck her one day. She told him to get out. He had previously told her he was going to commit suicide if she left him. He said, "Look, if you leave me, I will kill myself, and that will be your fault."
Yeah. Classic asshole tactics.
Oh yeah, real piece of work. Real manipulative piece of work. He punches her one day in the face. She kicks him out. And then there's conflict. There's conflict in story. So there's the upstairs neighbors who apparently believed that he was trying to climb down to her from upstairs to get back into the flat and fell. And then obviously there's her own mind, which is thinking, well, he said he was going to do this, and he did this. But there's this moment when they make eye contact, or she thinks they made eye contact when he was falling and she was looking out.
Yeah.
So she's very damaged from these circumstances, very, traumatic circumstances. And to try and kind of make peace, or I guess, get back in the right headspace, she goes to this manor house, and she's renting this place in the middle of a small town, and to kind of get away from things, and things kind of escalate from there. It's a beautifully directed film, as you would kind of expect.
I was going to say, you kind of expect that from Golan, don't you?
But it feels like he, I guess this is less until towards the end, very very much less effects laden as like Annihilation was in places. But even down to the basics, I mean, the framing, color grading, everything is shot so beautifully in this film. There are some wonderful shots of just water reflection early on in the film that are absolutely fantastic. I actually leant over to Ben within the first 10 minutes or so, and I was like, this is incredibly well shot. And again, very well acted. But Harper, while she kind of first of all meets Jeffrey, who's the owner of this holiday house, played by Roy Kinnear, who is fantastic in this film as well.
It's Rory Kinnear. He's brilliant in everything I've ever seen him in as well.
Yeah, so
slightly ruined. My wife says it's slightly ruined for her because every time she sees him, she sees that episode of Black Mirror he's in.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very unfortunate.
So, Roy Kinnear plays Jeffrey. But Rory Kinnear. But he also plays pretty much every male character in the film, aside from her ex. So, he is fantastic in every role he's in this film, and he's tremendous. Great range for the different characters he's playing. Anyway, while she's out, she goes for a walk, and she she decides to take a photo of some old ruins or an old outhouse, and there's just a naked man stood there, and he looks quite creepy and weird, and he starts following her. There's a wonderful scene under a tunnel prior to that as well, with noise where she's kind of reflecting noise back on herself. But basically, and then she sees this man stand up, and then later on she takes a photo and the man's there, and he starts following her, and follows her ultimately back to the holiday home where she's staying. And things kind of escalate from there. So obviously she thinks this man's stalking her, he's after her, she calls the police. Things escalate. I don't want to ruin the story or where it goes. I would say it's a film that purposely it's purposely mysterious and putting different questions out there, but never to the point of feeling obtuse or just kind of purposely like I'm going to be cryptic for the sake of being cryptic. But one of the things I really loved is all three of us left the cinema absolutely loving this film. All three of us had a different opinion on what a lot of this film meant.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've read a lot of reviews, and there was a few things that were slightly worrying me about the movie.
Sure.
A lot of people were comparing it to Mother, which
I'm not a fan of Mother.
That's a big alarm bell for me because that fucking movie sucks.
This is I would put this far above Mother. I wouldn't put it close.
That's good.
Personally.
Yeah.
Mother wasn't subtle at all. I thought Mother was like bashing you over the head with its message by the end.
It was thoroughly drubbing its fingers on your forehead.
Yeah, I mean this film certainly has a message, obviously, but I think its delivery is far better than Mother's. Far better. I
think the thing, Mother had great actors and great performances.
Oh, absolutely, it did.
It was
yeah.
just a fucking awful movie. It was shot beautifully as well, but it was terrible.
Yeah. And this film kind of lulls you into a bit of a false sense of security to an extent, where the character of Jeffrey's quite humorous.
Yeah.
And the initial kind of, it's a slow build, and obviously the naked man is quite disturbing, but I never expected this film to go as far as it goes by the end of the film.
I have heard about what
I was like, wow, okay, you're going there. And there were some people in the cinema that I think were getting quite uncomfortable. I think I've watched enough where I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I'm surprised you're doing this, but cool, okay. But I absolutely loved this film. I will say, I think it is going to be fucking Marmite, and I think there are going to be people that absolutely hate it. I think there are going to be people that leave and are just like, that was really weird. And I think there are going to be a lot of people with a lot of opinions on what this film ultimately, I think we'll all understand the message by the end of the film, but a lot of what things represent. I had a very strong opinion on what I thought it all was, and it was quite interesting having a pint with friends afterwards and just hearing their views, and I was like, that's not the way I took it at all. But that also works, I absolutely cannot recommend this film enough. But it is going to be Marmite, I think. But for me, so far, there has been some pretty strong competition with the likes of The Northman. Men is my number one film so far this year, but there is still half a year left, so
Yeah, we still got plenty of time.
But yeah, so that was Men. Highly recommended.
We're already doing better than last year.
We are. Last year was a right shit show. So what else have you watched, Matt?
So shall we do Stranger Things?
Let's do Stranger Things. So I briefly spoke about Stranger Things last time we did one of these shows.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched the final episode that's available at that point. I think I'd been up to that point. Obviously, there's 2 more episodes to go. I don't know how long those are. Probably about a year long or something. So I finished what is available now, which I think is up to episode 7, isn't it?
Yes.
And have you finished it now?
Yes, I watched a lot.
So, what did you think of it?
I really loved it.
Yeah.
It's definitely their strongest
since
season.
the first. I'm glad we agree on that, because I thought exactly the same. I also think the themes of this series harken back to the first series. It links better. It links really nicely. Season 1 was all about D&D, and to make this season all about the Satanic Panic was genius. I loved it.
Absolutely perfect. And I was slightly worried because they're introducing new characters.
These characters are better though.
And it was only really one sort of main new introduction, actually, so it wasn't quite as bad.
And I think it also makes characters they introduced in previous seasons actually better. Like, they actually grow.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the strongest things about this season is they've cut down the silliness.
Yeah.
The kids are all getting a lot older, and I like the whole. They're beginning to drift. You've got Lucas.
Well, this is the thing.
Kind of becoming a jock. You've got.
Yes, I loved that. Was one of my favorite storylines. Was Lucas falling in with the jock?
Yeah, which was really nice and really well done, and I'm so glad because I think Lucas got fuck all to do last season, didn't he?
Well, this is the thing, and I will say, for the most part, this feels like, other than 11, this feels like about the only season where it feels like they've actually grown.
Yeah.
Like in previous seasons, they were just being themselves, and it's like, oh, one of them's got a girlfriend now. Great. But they're still the same character. Here, it feels like actual growth is taking place. These characters are growing up. They're, it's really, really good.
And even, what's his name? I'm trying to find his
Which
name.
one?
Dustin. So Dustin, who does tend to get the share of the goofy stuff.
He does, yes.
Even he in this is growing. He's getting like leadership skills and
it's great.
He's properly sort of like leading the way and that was nice. For the majority of it, I like the sort of the split that they've got. The sort of the California lot and and still
that split worked really well. I will admit to zoning out on the Russia bits.
So that's exactly what I thought. The only thing for me was every time we went to
it just felt like it was wasting my time, to
Jim,
be honest.
Went to Hooper. It really was a sort of okay. Can we move on now? Because this is dull.
Yeah, and it just feels like at the moment, and maybe they'll tie it back, but at the moment it feels completely irrelevant to the plot as well.
Yeah, well, I presume they're gonna.
I mean, no, but if their resolution is they come back from Russia, then that whole fucking thing feels absolutely. You know what I mean? It's like things need to tie in Russia to what's going on.
I'm guessing they're gonna go through the Russian portal or whatever and end up back home because
I guess, but that's kind of it still doesn't feel like there's much of a tie between these two storylines. It's kind of like fine, but
the stuff with Joyce and the paranoid guy,
who I think was better in this season again.
The one thing that annoyed me about that, right, is he is this weird conspiracy paranoid dude
/ karate expert.
Yeah, and yet he accepts a drink from this dude.
I know. I was surprised by that. Yeah,
really? I don't think so. There's no way that dude's drinking anything that some dodgy Russian gives him. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree.
And I thought, he's so that it's kind of started off all right, but again, it was like, every time they switched to them, it's like, can we go back to the kids, please? Because this is just dull.
Yeah, because all of the kids, I loved that they were split up. And even when they split it again with 11 going off on her own and doing her own thing, I thought each story was really strong. It was just that Russian stuff. And it wasn't that it was bad. It just wasn't as interesting or engaging as anything else the kids were doing.
I think that the stuff in the camp felt stretched. It felt overly long.
I can see why they did it. They wanted the kids to stand on their own, so they took their parents away. But I think you could have just as easily done that with Joyce and that going off to Russia. We don't need to see much of it. They can just go away and we'll focus on what's going on here until they come back.
I think they could have just cut down a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, it felt like it went on too long. I agree.
I was very surprised to see Matthew Modine's character back because I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And I do love. I think they could have leaned into it a little more, but I do love the difference between Paul Reiser's character and Modine's character, and the fact that Paul Reiser's character does genuinely seem to sort of have a slightly more humanizing sort of presence there.
Yeah.
Against Modine, who is just purely, nope, I want results. Whatever we get it. And I like the new bad guy.
Yeah, fantastic. I saw that twist coming a mile away, but it was good anyway.
It was kind of telegraphed, you knew. I mean, there was no way that it was going to be Seven. That was
no.
Kids. I did. I mean, I don't think anybody genuinely bought.
I mean, it would have been, in some ways, it might have been more interesting if it was.
If it had been true, that would have been a genuine shock, and it would have been genuinely like, whoa, fucking hell, okay, fine, okay, great.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they would do that to 11.
No.
But yeah, the guy they've got playing him as well was, he was from bloody Twilight, wasn't he? He was like, I know that kid, he was in Twilight.
Yeah.
But, that's it. Oh, man. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, he's so sort of like weirdly, creepily friendly in his human.
Yes.
In the human flashbacks. But you can see, what's going on. You know, yeah, okay, well, we can see where this is going, but I like the design of the creature.
It was a nice reveal, nonetheless, at the end of that episode.
And the sort of the investigation into the house and stuff with the kids was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, having the cameo by Robert Englund.
Oh, he was great, wasn't he?
Really emphasizes the scenes that are just ripped straight from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all over this.
The whole stuff in the house.
Because a lot of this season is around dreams and things happening, it's great.
It's so heavily influenced by Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think in a really good way. I don't think it it rips badly. I think it does it really, really well, and really respectful.
I think it's done more respectfully than previous seasons of Stranger Things when they've homage to things before. Yeah, I think it's actually better done here.
I agree. Yes, and just genuinely creepy moments when they're going around, and I was very impressed with the brutality of what they do to the.
Oh God, that first girl! I was like, holy shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Because I must admit that I like Stranger Things, but I did feel like season 1 was fantastic, and since then I've been like, it's okay. And I must admit, towards the end of the first episode of this, I was a bit like, nah. And then that happened. I was like, okay, you got my attention. Cool. And then from then on, I was sold. There are some. They go really brutal in some of this.
Yeah.
But it's really good, and I felt like every character, every one of the kids had a great progression in their character.
Yep.
I thought obviously 11, Dustin, as you said, Lucas with the jocks. I think Will, who seems to be questioning his sexuality.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
Again, that's done really well.
It's done fantastically well. It feels natural. And it feels like a part of growing up. He's trying to figure out who he is, and it feels very natural, and it's very well written. And this is what I love about this season over the last couple, is that I really feel like these characters are actually progressing, and moreover, I feel like this season is going somewhere. we're going to a point, we're getting to a destination. Whereas the last couple, I mean, maybe it's just me, but the last couple I felt like here's the bad this year, and they're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, we know where they're coming from, but it's kind of just, whereas here it's like, oh, okay, we're coming to, it feels like we're coming to an end, and we're coming to a point.
And I really liked what they've done with oh Christ, now I'm going to find what Max. Max, I think her storyline was really good. I like that she's got the trauma from her brother dying, and the
Again, a very natural.
Yeah. She's tremendous, and I really loved Eddie, the new character. And
he's great. I knew an Eddie. I knew an Eddie.
Well, that's it. I think maybe because I was that type of guy.
Yeah.
When I was back at school, I was the meddler that played, D&D. So maybe there was just a lot of.
Well, I mean, I played D&D and stuff, but and I was into metal, but like that whole personality type, I'm like, I knew someone just like that,
Yeah, it's and like you said, the Satanic Panic so fits well.
It's a lovely harken back to that first season.
And the kid that's the sort of head jock, is it Jason?
Yeah.
He is so punchable.
God, yeah. When they do the whole fucking like
the town meeting,
social justice, the lynching, that whole stuff is like, God, you're such an asshole.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But again, that's fantastic because you've got Lucas stuck in the middle then, where he's like, "Hey, I'm in with the cool kids," and at first Lucas kind of justifies it to the gang by being like, "Well, hey, look, if I'm in, you're in. Like, we can all kind of make this work."
Yeah.
But then he's trapped in this really interesting situation.
And I love. He says they play D&D. Do you play D&D? And he's like, "No, my sister does."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, Lucas,
you asshole." I love his sister though. His sister's fantastic.
Yeah, she's not been in it much this season. But...
No, but when she is, she's just so sassy. I love it.
Yeah, it's a tremendous season.
It really is. Overall, I know we bitched about the Russian thing a bit, but that is a minor thing.
I mean, it's a minor. It's the worst part of the series. I think it's a minor.
It's the worst part of a very good series.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's highly enjoyable so far. That like we the character that they've moved on so well.
Yes,
they've actually genuinely thought about what these kids would happen to these kids as they get older and how they've changed.
Yeah,
and I even like the whole idea that of 11 lying to her boyfriend because she wants to
make him think that she's doing well and is popular, and
she wants the whole sort of perfect sort of relationship, and then she
man, the bit with the fucking skates was I was like, oh boy, it was like, it's like on the one hand, it was shocking, and it was like, oh my god. But on the other hand, I was like, you fucking deserved that.
It was there to make you think that she could be she could have the ability to kill people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It was done there.
Well, I would argue that the girl was lucky that she didn't have her powers, because I think she might have killed her earlier on. Actually,
yeah, I think so.
Like, I think she's lucky because the skates
fucking injured her.
That was pretty horrendous with the skates, but the way she was looking in the playground when she tried to use her powers, I'm like, I think she was trying to murder you right there.
Yeah, and the worst thing is that everybody would have seen that.
Oh yeah, totally.
It would have been a disaster for her, but the skate thing was like, oh damn.
Yeah, it was rough. But at the same time, because at first I was like, yes, because I thought she just punched her, and then you see, I was like, oh no, she hit her in the face with skates. Like, Jesus Christ.
There's some definite broken nose.
Oh,
possible fractured skull there.
Yeah, there might be some surgery for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna leave a mark.
And I like that later on the guy's like, yeah, don't worry, we'll make that disappear. That never happened.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she got revenge, and that girl's never gonna see her again ever. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I absolutely loved it.
The shootout in the house was unexpected. Actually, I thought.
Yes, yeah.
And the fact that those two guys, one of them got killed straight away, but
yeah,
it was like, oh, actually, they're useful. They're actually, he's actually doing something, because I was expecting them to just be terrible.
Yeah.
But the fact that he got them out of there, was good. Yeah, really good. I'm really happy with it. It's definitely the best season since one. And it's moving the story along nicely, and I am really looking forward to the last two episodes.
Yeah, me too. Me too, very much so.
I think they've got one more season, I think, to finish it off. I think they're doing.
Yes, apparently so. They've got to end soon. I mean, the kids are getting old. clearly old. It's going to be interesting. I said before I would be quite happy if they came back in 10 years and did like an It kind of thing. But obviously that's a difficult one to contract and a difficult one to get everyone to agree to. But that would be interesting. But outside of that, I think they need to end it pretty soon. And it feels like they have an ending and they have a purpose and they have a goal and they're moving towards it.
I hope they actually do, because they're probably going to do spin-offs, because that's
for sure.
Netflix are going to want the money, so they're going to want people. They really. I just hope they don't do a Supernatural and just keep
Christ.
it.
No, they need to end it.
Going past its fucking life expectancy.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, very happy so far.
So I'm not sure I've got much to say about this, but I also watched Val. The reason I don't have much to say is because I'm kind of tempted to wait until you've seen it.
Yeah, I think I should have. It completely slipped my mind. I planned on doing it. So let's do it when I've watched it then.
Let's save it for then. I will just say, if you want to watch it and then listen to us review it, it's fantastic. And I'll leave it at that for now. We'll come back to it in a couple of weeks when you've watched it as well. So what else have you watched? You've got another TV show and a movie, right?
I do. So let's go with Night Sky,
which is the other TV show.
Yeah.
Fantastic cast for this one as well.
Yeah, brilliant cast. Sissy Spacek, J.K. Simmons, Chai Hansen, Adam Bartley. So this is J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek play this old couple who live in this lovely sort of house, and in the sort of in what almost like a bunker below their shed is basically a teleporter to another world.
Right.
So this they seem to go. They go in this little sort of chamber, and it teleports them to this sort of almost like a viewing room in this planet, and it looks out onto this planet that looks dead. There's no greenery or anything. It's all rocky and sort of looks barren. But they've got this tremendous sky where there are like planets in the heavens, and you can see, I think, different loads of moons, and there's like more than one sun, if I remember rightly. They've never gone outside.
Right.
There is like a sort of sort of like an airlock. So there is like an airlock that they can use, and at some point they put mice there, and she says about going out, and he says, "Remember what they did to the mice? What happened to the mice?" So they've never been outside, but they're getting on now. They've had this thing for a while, and Sissy Spacek's character Irene, she's beginning to deteriorate, and Franklin, he's beginning to sort of forget things. So there's a sort of bit, not really spoiling anything, but there's a bit where he says, don't ever leave me, sort of thing. But I think she's decided she's gonna go. She's gonna go outside and probably end everything.
Sure.
She leaves him a note, but when she gets to the chamber, there's another guy in there. This young man called Jude, who's covered in blood, but he doesn't appear to have any injuries.
Right.
And she basically takes him in. They take him in. Franklin is very suspicious of him. He's very worried. He locks him in their room. They had a son who years ago committed suicide. They have a granddaughter she's at college. She's at college and she's doing an intern. She's working really hard. She's played by Kaya McKernan. She's really good. she comes over at some point. She's clearly not happy with what she's doing, and she's obviously been affected by her father's suicide, as have Sissy Spacek and Simmons. They both have this thing, but Irene takes this guy in, and she kind of has him as like a surrogate son. She starts, she makes him soup to because he's got a fever, and they find out, and he says he's there because he's trying to find his father. And meanwhile, you get this. I think it's a llama farm in the middle of Argentina, and you're introduced to Stella, and what is the girl's name? Tony. You get Tony sort of single mother, and her daughter. They live on this farm, sort of in the middle of nowhere in Argentina. And the girl, she's a normal girl. She's at school, and she wants to, bring people over. And her mum's like, don't, this, there's stuff we about in our family that that we can't have people around and stuff. And it turns out that in their chapel, they've got their own like private little chapel. And in their chapel, they too have a chamber.
Right.
And the girl doesn't know anything about this. The mother, she seems to be part of this. This guy turns up one day, who very gruff bloke who kind of frightens the daughter, and it's like, why the hell isn't? And he talks about responsibility, and why haven't you told her about her, her family and her obligations. And it seems that the mother's father was the head of this organization at some point, and she has responsibilities, and you don't know what this organization is, but you know that they've got these chambers kind of all over the world.
Right.
And their organization, they use Latin, and they seem very like they're maybe part of the church.
Okay.
So, and they're obviously like a very old organization. So you get that they are supposed to hunt down the character of Jude. He's obviously gone missing, but the chamber in the basement of this shed seems to be unknown to them. They don't know, this organization didn't know it existed.
Right.
The other one, it's obviously programmable. They can obviously program where they can go in, but this one seems to be one that is like a lost one that they know. They kind of know there's one somewhere, but they don't know where it is. And obviously this couple find it. So again, this is another sort of
it's very similar.
It's another sort of family drama sort of stuff with weird sci-fi stuff going on. However, with this one, oh my god, J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek are so adorable.
What a combination!
Yeah, they are the most adorable old couple you will ever meet. They are brilliant. You've got Franklin, who's this sort of cynical. He's got their neighbor. Who's played by Adam Bartley, who took me a while to realise who he played one of the characters in Longmire, who I really love. He's this nosy neighbour who has seen them going into the shed at night, and he's like, why are they going into the shed at night? They spend hours down there. What's going on in this shed? And he's like, really, and his character even. You sort of get to the point where you're thinking, oh, this guy's so fucking annoying. I hate this guy. And then they do this sort of, this thing happens because there's this brilliant bit where he says to Franklin's character, it's like, why won't you talk to me? Why are you, it's nothing personal. I just don't like you. But there's this brilliant sort of thing where they end up having I'm not going to spoil anything, but they have like a drink, and something happens, and it goes in a way that you just don't see coming. It's like, oh, fuck, okay, they're going to do that. Okay, that's fine. I'm kind of happy with that. It's really, I enjoyed this so much more. I think the Outer Range is probably the better show,
Sure.
but this is the more enjoyable show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's mainly to do with Spacek and Simmons.
Yeah.
Their performance, they're, like I said, they're so adorable and so brilliant that you just want to be with them. And I like the mother daughter team of no wrong Julieta Zilberberg and Rocco Hernandez. They're really good as well, and the sort of the Tony character, the daughter, her finding out about her, she's lived all her life on this farm in the middle of Argentina, sort of thing.
Yeah.
She ends up in they teleport to New York, the outside of New York, and she's like, "Can we go shopping in New York? Can we do this?" He's like, "No, you can't. You've got to do this." And they're like driving around in this van with this guy, and she's constantly like, "Can we do this? This is like we're in the places that I dreamed of going, and we're not doing anything."
Yeah.
But she's got this sort of this is clearly this sort of legacy that she has to sort of deal with, but her mother hasn't told her anything because I think her mother doesn't want her daughter to end up kind of like she is.
Yeah.
This is really, it's a really good, it's like I said, it's not as, I don't think it's as well crafted as the Outer Ranges.
Yeah.
But I think it's character wise it's so much more enjoyable.
That goes a long way though,
Yeah, I think
that can carry you through a bad film, a bad series. Not that this is bad, but it really
it's
can.
Not. No, it's really good and it's really fun. And again, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. I really liked how it ended, and it's definitely ended for more.
Sure.
Which I hope it gets renewed. I would this one I would be Out of Range. If it doesn't get renewed, I will be slightly disappointed. But if this doesn't get renewed, I will be very disappointed because this was just such fun.
Cool.
Really sweet. So I would highly recommend this. And like I said,
will definitely give it a go.
In the next season, I think I would like them to focus on this organization so we get more of what's going on, because you don't get a lot of what's going on. It's very secret. They're keeping it very secretive about what they are and what they're connected to. And I think it's done enough to keep you wanting to know more and keep you going.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to season 2 of this. I'm looking forward to season 2 of Outer Range as well, but this one for me was so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, awesome. And then finally, you saw a film.
I did. I saw X.
X. What is X, Matt?
So X is a very, I would say, from the trailer, a very blatant homage to Texas Chainsaw. So it's...
Well, I hope they did a better job than the most recent Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would have to be...
They would have to try.
Going
they have
to be
to
worse
really
than...
try.
So the trailer makes it look like it's very sort of slashery, very sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. So we've got it's 1979, and we've got Maya Goth playing Maxine. We've got Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, Kid Cudi. I think, is it Cudi or Cudi?
I'm not sure.
She's a singer. I don't know him.
I don't know singers.
Really good at this. Martin Henderson, and we've also got Stephen So there's this. So Henderson is playing Wayne, who is the producer of porn movies, and we are introduced to Maya Goth's Maxine, who is his latest sort of star and his latest girlfriend, sort of thing. And she sort of wants to be a star. She wants to to everyone to know who she is. And we've got Brittany Snow playing Bobby Lynn, and she's another performer. And we've got Kid Cudi, who's another performer, as it were. And they're with this RJ, who is the director. He wants to write. He wants to do elevated porn. He wants a porn movie with a proper story and real good, cinematography. And,
yes, because that's why people watch porn.
He wants to do, he wants people to really watch porn and really,
Okay, I mean that is an angle.
Yeah, and Jenna Ortega is Lorraine, his girlfriend, who's doing the sound and stuff. And so Wayne is booked this guest house in middle of nowhere, Texas. So you can see where this is fucking going.
Yeah.
So he is booked this guest house, and then when they get there, they do the drive across the country thing. Weird sort of stop at a petrol station.
The usual.
There's a sort of they come across a dead cow on the highway, and they get there, and the old man who opens the door. I mean, and we're talking Texas Chainsaw old man, real, like almost corpse like old man, answers the door with a shotgun and basically tells him to fuck off. And he's like, no, I phoned you. I ordered. He's oh yeah, okay, fine. And he says, oh, the gun's not loaded anyway. I just use it to scare off people. And it's like this boarding house was apparently it was a billet for troops in the Civil War, and it was a big guest house during the 20s or 30s. So, but it's obviously run down a bit now, and no one really comes there. And he says, oh, I don't want you disturbing my wife. My wife, she's like sick, and I don't want any of you doing anything. And he's surprised that when he sees this group of people, he just thought it was like, oh, I just thought it was you. And he says, no. He says, well, he gives him like $100. Says, oh, this should make up for it,
Right.
He says, we'll be very quiet, and everything's like, yeah, all right, you're gonna be filming porn in his place. It's like, sure. And Margoff notices in the top window of the house this sort of very old corpse-like lady waving down at her, and she sort of waves back. So from there we get the porn shoot and stuff, and then things take a turn later on. So what I will say is it's not a your standard Texas Chainsaw ripoff.
Okay.
There
that's
are
good.
Certainly elements of that. It's very heavily influenced by Texas Chainsaw, and a lot of other it takes a lot of other influences from I think Psycho at times, and a lot of classic sort of horrors. Those sorts of sort of 60s 70s horrors.
Yeah.
The opening shot is a tremendous shot of like framed in a doorway of the house, and the police car coming up the sort of this path, and then it pans back to reveal there are already police cars there, and sort of the devastation of what's happened.
Mm.
And it does make you think: does every 70s set horror movie start with the cops sort of turning up?
Kind of does, yeah.
Is it like a prerequisite of setting your horror movie in the 70s or something? But it's a tremendous shot. There are some beautiful shots in here.
Mm.
There's a really good one on them, and there's no way I'm going to spoil what happens, but there's a great aerial shot of Maya Goth swimming.
Right.
And I'm not going to say what
happens
what happens, but it's a beautiful shot. So it's really well shot in a lot of these. So the weird thing about this movie is it's nothing. Nobody gets killed for the first hour.
That is odd.
Yeah, it's a real slow burner. It's got this sort of because the first hour is mostly sort of them shooting this porn movie,
right?
And sort of weird incidents with the old couple. Like the old lady sort of, she's turning up and she seems to have taken a shine to Maya Goth's character for some reason, and she invites her in at one point, and she gives her sort of lemonade, and you see sort of pictures of her, and I don't know whether to spoil something here. No,
That is up to you.
I won't spoil it, but there seems to be a sort of a weird connection between Pearl, the old lady, and Maxine's characters. There's a sort of weird connection that she has with him, and it's so much to do with aging and getting old and desires. There's this whole thing about the old lady. She's, for want of a better term, she's horny, and her body no longer
Sure
does what she wants it to do. She longs for her youth, and there's some very sort of almost bordering on arty shots and scenes in this. There's a scene Brittany Snow, who I don't know terribly well, but I know she can sing because she was in what are those terrible movies? Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
So I've seen her in I saw the first Pitch Perfect movie, and I know she can sing. There's a scene where she sings Landslide
nice.
by Fleetwood Mac, and she sings it really well, which I personally, for me, if you're going to have trouble fucking keeping up with Stevie Nicks, but she does a pretty good job, and she's singing Landslide. So you've got them in this sort of this chalet or whatever you call it, where they're staying, and she's singing, and the Kid Cody's character is playing guitar, and they're sort of they're going around them as she's singing Landslide, and then you've got this split screen happens, and it goes to the old lady sort of sat on her bed, and the sort of the lyrics because Landslide's about getting older and stuff, and it's like, whoa, this is getting really weird and artsy here. This is not what I was expecting from this movie.
Sure.
So when you get the hour mark and the killings start, ooh, are they fucking brutal?
Awesome.
They are really gory kills, and very well done. The first kill with again, I won't spoil it, but the first kill was like, oh fuck, okay, you kind of see it coming because it's like, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. But when it does happen, it's like, whoa. And then, how do I?
Well, don't spoil anything. It's fine.
It's not a spoiler because the old couple's going to do them in. But she after she's killed this person, she then does this dance. She does a little dance and stuff. And it's like, oh my god, this is not what I thought this was going. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I can see that this is going to be probably not as decisive as Men.
Sure.
But I can definitely see people getting turned off by this movie because, like I said, the first hour is all about
the making of a porn movie.
And it's not at all what I think people.
If people are signed up to a slasher, they're expecting it pretty much.
Yeah, and I do think it was slightly missold that it was, going to be teens turn up. But
it's sold as a slasher movie.
It is, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a slasher movie because they do get murdered. But there's more to it. There's stuff about aging and there's stuff about religion, because in the background there's this every time you see a TV there seems to be this evangelist on the telly talking about stuff, and there's a real nice loop you get about that towards the end, and there's like lovely bits where one of the characters, the sound girl, the producer guy calls her church mouse because she's like, she's obviously been sheltered, and she's not used to being around these porn actors. But once they've done filming a couple of scenes, she's sort of like, I think I want in on this. I think I want some. And you get this quite a nice little shot of after the, they're like, her boyfriend, the director's like, no, you can't possibly get. It's like, no, I'm the writer. You can't possibly be involved. And everybody else is like, why the fuck not? Yeah, she can if she wants to fucking be in this movie. It's like, no, it's like, but anyway, they do. And there's this lovely bit where they're doing her up, they're putting her makeup on, and the cross comes off.
Mm.
It's like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that's that. I quite like that. It was quite nice. So yeah, I think I've read some of the reviews for it, and I can see there are people really hate this movie because it is definitely not what they thought it was going to be. They expected Camp Crystal Lake Slaughterhouse, and it's not that. It's a very interesting horror movie. It's directed by Ty West, who he's a little hit and miss. He'd previously done House of the Devil and The Innkeepers, and VHS.
Oh yeah, I remember. I've seen VHS.
He's done. I like The Innkeepers. It's a sort of haunted hotel movie which I quite liked, and The House of the Devil, which is a sort of babysitter goes to this house, and there's obviously sort of weird satanic stuff going on. That's got Tom Noonan in, which is really cool. I did enjoy that, but he seems to be this sort of people either like him or don't. He's done a lot of TV work and stuff. But I actually think he's not too bad, and I think this is probably his best work. Okay, well that's good to know. I will check it out at some point. It's kind of been on my radar, but I really recommend it. I think it's a really good movie, but don't go in expecting a typical slasher come Texas Chainsaw, because I mean everybody thinks, we've said so many times, everybody thinks that that's what the Texas Chainsaw is, and it's not. But
no, it's not at all.
Everything that rips off Texas Chainsaw makes it that.
Yeah, and the sequels kind of make it that as well.
Yeah, the sequels do. And it's not. And there is a. No, it's not spoiling anything to say, but there's a prequel coming soon.
Right. Okay.
Called Pearl. Which I'm really looking forward to, if it's anywhere near as good as I thought this was. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be. It's a very it's going to be a very divisive. Not decisive. Divisive. Movie, but I really enjoyed it. I think the performances are really good. Maya Goth, who's been in, I think this is like a 7th horror movie now, I think. So she's turning into a real sort of modern scream queen. She was in I really enjoyed it. That's another movie that's very divisive. Cure for Wellness.
I quite enjoyed Cure for Wellness.
Yeah, actually. I did too. I really liked it. Well, she was really good in that, and she was in the Suspiria remake,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, she was in The Secret of Marrowbone. So she's done some really nice horror movies. She's working really well, and I like the support cast. Brittany Snow I thought was really good when she's got a really good voice, and I thought she was great. Kid Cudi, who I like, sort of Cudi or Cudi, whatever you pronounce that name, he was great. And there was one point where he stood in a doorway, and I don't know if it's his real appendage, but if it is his real appendage, woo, that boy is talented. He's got quite a thing on him. He was great as well.
He's in the right film.
He's in the right film. Yeah, he totally is. Yeah, I really liked it. There's some beautiful shots in it. It's really well directed, I thought. Yeah, I think it's genuinely his West's best movie.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it.
I'll definitely check it out. Well, that's it for what we've watched anyway. What movie are we doing next week, Matt?
So I don't know about that yet.
Okay, we're undecided. That's cool. A mystery's fine.
There's a few bits and pieces we can talk about.
Sure.
So the big one which has just been announced, which seems fucking weird. So the sequel to the Joker.
Oh yeah, I saw they've announced it.
Yeah.
Have they done anything more than announce it?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a musical.
Right.
And it looks like they're looking to cast Lady Gaga as Harley.
Right. I mean, after the tone and everything of the first film, that sounds like they're jumping the fucking shark. But fine. I mean, we'll see what happens. Is it the same director? Same.
Yeah, it's the same director.
I mean, cool. Maybe it'll be great. They a lot of goodwill from that first film, so I'll give it a go. It does sound like an interesting choice, though.
I can definitely see Gaga as.
Oh, she'd be great. It's the musical part that I'm questioning.
Yeah, I think some people have said, is it because of the dance scene on the steps? Is that why they've gone musical route? I don't know.
I don't know, but they have purposely cast a singer.
Yeah,
she's a great actress too. But you know.
Yes, she is. She's had some really nice performances. I mean, Star is Born was a really good movie. She was great in that.
That was a fantastic remake. I really liked that movie.
Actually, Star is Born is one of those few movies that's
they've always done pretty good.
Every version of Star Wars is actually good.
That is very rare.
There is no. I mean, there's like four, 5 versions.
Yeah, I think I've only seen like 3 of them, but yeah.
Every one version is good in its own way, for completely different reasons, almost.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens there. That's an interesting one.
It's a very. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Joker.
I liked it. I wasn't. I think the trouble is, by the time I saw it, the hype train had kind of ruined it to the where I was like, yeah, it's okay. I don't really understand why people are going so crazy over it, but
it was a really well-made movie.
Very well made.
That for me bordered too much on Taxi Driver, and
it does. It does take its homages a little far, I must admit.
And it's a good movie, but I didn't have it didn't do a lot for me. But I mean, I'd certainly watch a weird song and dance with Lady Gaga, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah, I'll give it a go. I mean, like I said, I did enjoy the first one, so I'll give it a
go. Paddington 3 has been announced.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I absolutely adored Paddington.
Paddington 1 was amazing. Paddington 2 is even better. They're such good movies.
Oh, I don't know whether
I love Paddington 2.
Certainly great. Yeah. I think they're both brilliant movies. They are genuinely good kids movies.
Oh, fantastic! They're so wholesome.
Sweet. They got such heart, and they're so well done.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
All of the performances are fantastic. So we've got different director this time, which is it's his first movie. He's done adverts and things, which is fine. I mean, a lot of the great directors started in fucking adverts, so that's not an issue, is it? But the writer is Simon Farnaby is still writing, and Paul King, who did the previous ones, he's still on as producer. So it's going to be Paddington in Peru, basically. So
okay, I'm game for anything after the first.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
The only bit of the Jubilee I watched was Paddington with the Queen. Have you seen that?
I didn't watch any of the Jubilee.
It's the only thing I watched because it was Paddington, and it's literally the Queen with Paddington having tea.
That is quite cute.
It's like 10 minutes long, but it's really sweet. So that was the only thing of the Jubilee I watched. I'm really happy with this. I'm, more than happy to see another Paddington. I think those two movies are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sequel to the Ghostbusters has been announced.
Yes. So, not much in the way of story other than they're returning to the firehouse.
That's what it's going to be called. It's going to be called Ghostbusters Firehouse, I think.
Okay.
Is what they're naming it.
After that last movie, I'm on board.
Yes.
I'm sold.
Me too. It looks like
never thought I'd say that, but
yeah, it looks like the most McKenna Grace and Finn Wolfhard coming back. I mean,
Well,
to
the
be
thing
fair,
is, post-pandemic and stuff, they will have grown up enough now where they can probably just pull it off. It'll be fine.
yeah, I mean,
You know, like,
to be fair, if they didn't bring back McKenna Grace,
she was
that would have been
amazing.
the worst decision they ever made.
Definitely,
she was the heart and soul of that movie.
She was my favorite character by far of that movie.
Yeah,
and I liked a lot of the characters in the movie, but she just stole the show every scene.
Yeah, completely. So they're also doing a animated movie.
Yes.
And they're also working on a animated TV series as well. So they're actually they're getting round to doing
the Ghostbusters universe finally.
The Ghostbusters universe that they planned with the
2016,
the lady one, which thankfully never got made because that would have been awful. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think they've got a VR game coming as well. So they're really
why not?
They're really locked into this Ghostbuster stuff.
Well, and Reitman's still attached, so
yes,
you know, he did such a great job with that first.
He really did.
That first one of his. So
I think he did such a job of lovingly, you know, paying homage to the original. And I think, you know, a lot of people are disappointed that it had hash stuff from the first one.
Well, that was my one criticism.
Like the first one, but as we've said before, there's no fucking way you can reproduce the first one. It's just not going to happen.
No. My one criticism of it was that the last 20 minutes just becomes a remake of Ghostbusters.
It kind of does.
But there's a lot of other stuff in that movie that made it fantastic before that. That by that point I was like, yeah, fine, go for it. You know, why not?
So you sent me a message about this one, and while I'm point out, the Rob Zombie little teaser.
I loved it
for the Munsters.
I thought that was so
good.
He perfectly captured the Munsters. I saw it and I was like, that is the Munsters.
Yeah.
And there's always that fear in the back of my mind when it was like Rob Zombie announced. I was like, oh God, is he going to make this a gore fest? Because that's not what the Munsters is.
I know. The thing is, I think I know Rob Zombie and
he loves the Munsters.
I don't think he would ruin it. I think he's got such a love for Munsters.
Clearly not, because that teaser was like, wow, it is the Munsters I remember.
It's the opening of the Munsters, the TV show, isn't it?
And then when it says now in color and change, it's like, oh, this is great. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
IMDb have got a lot of a load of pictures up for it as well. They've got
I've seen the pictures. Yeah, they're really good.
Really good pictures. And I was it brought a real massive smile on my face. Sylvester McCoy is in it.
I know.
It's like, yes, Sylvester McCoy. I'm so happy. This is brilliant.
I literally was smiling ear to ear watching that teaser. It was fantastic. That's why I had to message you. I was like, this is so good.
It really did.
Did you see those Star Trek animated things I messaged you?
I did.
My God, they were cool.
They are really good.
Do you know, it's amazing. They took the shittest episode of Voyager, and in cartoon form, it worked really well.
Yeah,
it was fine. That's lovely. So, someone on YouTube, if you look up Voyager the animated series or Star Trek the Next Generation the animated series, someone's basically made the old TOS animated series for the new shows, and I'm really hoping he does DS9 next, because he's done Next Gen and Voyager. I just so good.
They use voice clips,
and they've made the voice clips degraded the quality like the old animated show. The music, the color use, everything.
The music, that was what really got me, was the music use from the original animation.
And they've even got the original Enterprise, the Constitution class moving through space noise as well.
Yeah.
The engine noise. They've just put that into Voyager and Next Gen. It's so charming. It's great.
And they've even got I love the sort of clunky way that they sort of run.
Yeah, all of it. It's so perfect to what you get in the old TOS animated show. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
Absolutely loved it.
Really, really good. What was the last thing on my thingy? So Christopher Landon, who did the Happy Death Day movies, and
I liked that movie. I haven't seen the second one.
Freaky, which
you said Freaky was great. I still haven't checked that out.
Freaky is great. I thought that was brilliant. He is doing a remake of Arachnophobia.
Okay.
Now, part of me goes, why the fuck would you remake?
It doesn't need remaking.
It's a brilliant movie.
It is.
John Goodman is amazing in that fucking movie. I mean, he's amazing in everything he's in, um, but having said that, he's got a real flair for comedy horror. So
I just, as an aside, I was like, Chris Landon. I wonder if he's the son of Michael Landon, and he is. I didn't know that.
No, I did not know that either.
No, I just looked it up, and I was like, I wonder if he's. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, go on.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it just suddenly made me think of Michael Landon. I was like, I wonder if that's his son. Yeah. Anyway,
he's got a real flair for comedy horror, so I think he
he does
do a good job of it.
Mm.
Whether it's not needs to be remade or it's another matter. I think maybe just do a sequel, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be easy just to do more spiders in a different place.
Mm.
But okay, fine. If they do it, but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
That's all we got. We'll be back next week with a movie. Don't know which one, but we'll discuss, and we'll do a deep dive. And until then, stay safe, try and stay cool, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.